Hi, I'm Andrew Stevenson, and in today's video we're going to take a look at Leonardo AI. This is another image generation software which can be used to create colouring book images. It is currently free, but you do have to sign up for it and be accepted or whitelisted, as they call it. Now I've already applied, and it took a couple of weeks, to be honest, to be whitelisted. So the sooner you apply, the sooner you can get online. So if you're not yet registered, you do so there, but I am, so I'll click yes, I am whitelisted. And here I am logged in. With the free version, you get 150 credits every day. And each credit and each generation takes 4 credits, and you do normally get, I think, 4 images per prompt. Now there are lots of different modes, but I'm just going to be interested in the AI generation at the minute. But before I go into that, we are going to search the gallery for other colouring book images that have been generated previously. So these are all the images that have been generated by other users using the phrase colouring book in a prompt. And if you highlight over them, you can see the prompt that was used. So we'll look at a few of these and get some prompt ideas. So if you click on an image, you can also copy the prompt. You can remix it. And you can also image to image, which is something I've not used yet, so I'll avoid that for the minute. So this prompt has words like the description of the subject, in this case a parrot on a branch, in the kawaii style, cartoon colouring book for kids, that one looks like a fun one. Again, the subject, kawaii style. That's probably the same person who did. No, not. It's a very similar prompt to the first one we saw. That one obviously still throws up unusual images. That's quite a smart one. That's a decent looking dog. So colouring page, photorealistic, clean line art. So these are just a few examples of what you can make. A fantasy hamster. I'm just looking at the actual part of the prompt that brings up the colouring book aspect of it. So let's get into the AI generation and see what it's all about. Now ignore these, I was trying to get a picture of a cat dressed as royalty for personal reasons. But let's go into the colouring book image. So we'll start simply and we'll use a similar prompt structure to the ones we saw previous. And so let's start with subject. So I'll type in cute cat, colouring book image, colouring page for children, and we'll just see what that brings up. So as you can see, you can change the amount of images that are generated using this panel here. It took 4 prompts, I imagine, because I used, sorry, it took 4 credits because I used 4 images. If I change to 8, you can see over here it says it'll take 8. You can change the dimension. There's also prompt magic, which is an experimental render pipeline that may have better prompt adherence. I'll turn that on. And I'll just leave it as it is, and we'll generate the same again. So with exactly the same prompt and only ticking on prompt magic, it gave us images that are a lot more appropriate for a colouring book. No, I don't like the way it's put a Dreams Time, a watermark over there. So at the minute there's no extra cost for using prompt magic, but it says on the description mid-April there'll be a 2x multiplier. Now we are mid-April now, so I expect that to go up soon. I'm going to add a couple of more prompts. There's also an option for negative prompts, so I'll put in, I don't see any colour, I don't see any shading. So here I'll look at some of the images I generated using similar prompts, just changing the odd line, the odd word. So unlike Midjourney version 5, where you can get a decent image just by typing in colouring book image for kids, cat, here you've really got to write a bit more. Now these ones here, I did copy an image prompt from the gallery, and I'm just going to use this now to change the subject, see what we get. And here are the images generated. Pretty good. They've all for some reason got some sort of shading or a bit of a blue tinge to them. We can get that out using some graphic design software. I've got videos on how to remove colour using programs like Affinity Photo and Canva. I will link to those in the description. But they're not bad images. I'll just take this prompt and I'll put it in Midjourney and see what happens. So these are the images generated in Midjourney. They're more instantly recognizable as colouring book images with just black lines on a white background. They're not as detailed as the ones from Leonardo. Out of them both using the same prompt, I think Leonardo's images are a lot more interesting, but you do have to do more work to get the prompt to work. So in Midjourney, if I just put cute cat in a basket, I'll also put this in, I'll also put the same prompt in Leonardo. So this is what we get from Midjourney. Cat in a basket, Probably needs a bit more work to be usable, but it's a black and white image. It's a black lined image on a white background, which I didn't specify here. I just said colouring book for kids. And in Leonardo we get more stylized images, but they're all on odd bluey backgrounds. This one is white. That's not a bad image, but I don't like this deformed little devil down there, and also there seems to be body parts on the outside. So here is one of the better images from Leonardo, and I'm in Affinity Photo 2, and I'm just going to remove the blue with the funny shading using a macro that I created to remove the colour from any image. And that's quite a usable colouring book image. So maybe, if you have access to software that can remove the colour. This is in Affinity Photo 2, like I said. It's very simple to set up this macro. It'll be linked in the description below. Maybe your best bet is just to design as good an image as possible and then remove the colour from it. So here are some images that I've just generated by copying a prompt from the gallery. Here it is in Affinity Photo. Remove the colour, and that's not a bad colouring book image. You can change it slightly to get what you want, but that's not a bad image at all. And there are lots of different models you can use, so I'll go back to the original colouring book for kids, Cute Cat in a Basket, which generated these images, and I'll just change some of these settings here. So we'll go to Leonardo Creative, and here we are with examples from the other diffusion models. Now this is a reminder of what came up with the standard Leonardo diffusion option, which I imagine is the most up-to-date model. This is in Creative. See, there's no blue background, but there is some colour shown. This is in Leonardo Select. Leonardo Signature looks a lot more realistic, and then these monstrosities are previous versions of Leonardo. So this one's Stable Diffusion 1.5, and this one is 2.1. So you can generate colouring books with Leonardo, and if you've got the means to remove the colour from the images that are generated, you can make some pretty good and detailed pages. It's free. You do need to sign up and you join a waiting list, but it is free. Maybe it's because I've used Midjourney a lot more, but I just don't think it's as good as Midjourney. You've got to put a lot more effort in to generate usable images. And of course AI art wouldn't be AI art without extra hands or paws. So there you have it, just a quick view at Leonardo AI and a slight comparison with Midjourney. Pros, it's free, just you have to wait to join up, and you can generate some spectacular images. There is the gallery you can search. To get ideas of what sort of prompts work, and you can also copy the prompts and see what generates for you. So here's another example of a copied prompt. It's a brilliant image, not quite suitable for colouring books, but there's no denying it's a fantastic image. And of course, as with everything AI, it's improving all the time. So Leonardo AI, definitely worth playing around with. I'm sure you can generate some decent images. I will keep experimenting, but I think Midjourney just has it for me. That is it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time.